on what circle you run in, the name Subaru is going to elicit different reactions. For some it's going to be World Rally and Imprezas, WRXs and big wings. But for others, and surprisingly enough, the majority of the market are going to think of this, the Subaru Forester. The fourth generation Subaru Forester wasn't winning any hearts though. This was largely down to its underpowered 2-litre engine that they felt, well, really wasn't up to the task. Subaru's gone back to the drawing board, and this new 5th generation Forester is now fitted with a meaty 2.5 litre. And this 2.5 litre flat 4 engine is definitely a step up from the 2 litre that it replaces in the outgoing model. This one makes considerably more power, so you're going to get 136 kilowatts and you're going to get 239 newton meters of torque. Now, it's not all that much, and it's a far cry off of the turbocharged prowess that we came to expect in the old Forester XT. But it really is a lovely engine. It's pretty quiet, it runs nice and smooth, and it's mated to a CVT gearbox, and only a CVT gearbox. There is no automatic or manual option in the new Forester. It's the Lineartronic CVT gearbox, and in the sport model, well, we've got a manual option, so we can pop it over to the side and play with the pedals here behind the wheel to give us the impression that we're changing gears, because sadly that's all that it is. But I must say, as far as CVT gearboxes go, this is probably one of the better ones. It really is smooth and it suits the Forester perfectly. It's inobtrusive and it doesn't have that elastic band sort of whine and feel to it. It's very, very pleasant. Of course, it's going to send power to all 4 wheels through the symmetrical all-wheel drive system, a trademark of Subaru. It's also got X mode, and X mode down here at the bottom is going to allow you to change the settings for snow and dirt or deep snow and mud. And that's going to change the torque vectoring and the torque biasing at the individual wheels to ensure that you get the most grip. It's a little bit pointless in South Africa unless you're going out on the dunes, because we don't really get any snow here. What makes a sport model a sport model? Well, it's largely just trimmings. On the outside, you're going to get a couple of black trim pieces, the side sills, the grille, and this lovely little garnish on the top of the rear boot lid. It all looks really good, and it's matched with a set of black 18-inch wheels. I would have liked those to have been a slightly more flash design, but they suit the purpose of the Forester rather nicely. You're of course going to get a couple of orange accents as well, and that's carried over to the interior. Climb inside the new Forester Sport and you're going to be greeted with, well, a rather sporty interior. There are a lot of different surfaces and materials in play here. Adds a lot of depth, feeling and character to the interior. You're also going to get orange accents. You have them on the gauges, you have them around the air vents and around the gear selector here, and virtually everything has some raised stitching in that same orange. So we have it on the steering wheel and on the gaiter, the dashboard's even got it, and the seats. But these seats are pretty cool because they're part leather and part water repellent material. And I do quite like this material. It's extremely comfortable, feels great to the touch, and the fact that it's water repellent is going to suit those with an active lifestyle. There's also generous space inside here. But let's climb in the back and I'll show you that. In the back of the Sport, well, it really is spacious. I've got tons of legroom here. I may not be over 6 foot, but this is really generous. I feel that those that are slightly on the taller side are going to run into a few issues with the low headroom. That's going to start feeling a little claustrophobic. The good thing is it is a light color, so it doesn't feel as if it's too constricting. The trims and everything at the back are just as good as what they are in the front. We've also got ISO child seat mounts, which is going to be a boon for those with young children. Those with slightly older children will be pleased to know that we have 2 USB ports at the back here for power, and that'll keep their gadgets and devices fully charged. It's got a lot of boot space too. I mean, how nice is this boot? It really is a large space, but that's largely because the Forester is a 5-seater and not a 7-seater, so there's no third row here. But that means you can use this, and that's what you want it for. The Sport has this rubberized liner that is going to protect the carpet from things that are wet, dirty, or a little bit doggy. It's also got hooks that'll keep carrier bags in the upright position, or handbags and the like, stop them from tipping over. There's eyelets down at the bottom, and those are going to allow you to secure your luggage. There's also releases for the split folding rear seats, and that's going to expand this even further for those larger items. This is a lovely space, a very usable space. On the safety side of things, Subaru really has a all-in-one package, and they call it EyeSight, and it uses these cameras up top here to keep an eye on the road. It'll give you a lane departure warning as well as an assist, so it'll help you steer a little bit. There's adaptive cruise control that's going to monitor the vehicle in front of you and maintain the distance. There's also pre-collision braking, so if it anticipates that you're going to make contact with the vehicle in front of you, it'll automatically brake for you. It's going to do that when you're reversing as well, and that's the rear automatic braking, which forms part of the cross-traffic alert. Naturally, there's blind spot monitoring, airbags out the wazoo, and it's a well-known fact that the Subaru safety structure is, well, solid. Another little feature that I do quite like is the camera system. So there's a front-mounted camera as well as a passenger wing mirror-mounted camera. And with the push of a button, it'll allow you to see the traffic alongside you or the pavement alongside you, as well as the paving in front of you. And this makes it so much easier to park this vehicle and maneuver it in tight spaces. When it comes to fuel economy, the new Forester is slightly heavier than its predecessor, naturally the bigger engine playing a part in that. Subaru claims that you're going to get 8.3 litres per 100 kilometers in this new Forester Sport, and with our mixed and slightly heavy foot driving, it's been in the mid-9s, so that's fairly acceptable as far as their claims go, but it's definitely not as light as some of their competitors. And then of course it comes down to what the Forester Sport is going to cost you. And the simple answer there is 600,000 Rand. It is backed by a 5-year 150,000 kilometer warranty and a 3-year 75,000 kilometer maintenance plan. Its bigger brother, the ES, is going to cost 40,000 Rand more. But when you consider all the safety, the tech, and just how wonderful it is to drive, at that price point, I think that places the Forester right back in the mix.